So I'm joined by Laurence Skelly, Minister for Enterprise, and the news about the figures for tourism. I mean, I'm very intrigued because the way it read was we're all doing very well now, but I remember this time last year we were having a bump and it was quite a big drop. But that's now in one of those little lines in there. It said that's all been recalibrated or something. So can we deal with that? Because obviously now the graph's doing a nice steady upwards. But last year, down, and then obviously it would look like a big up, I suppose. But you've evened that bump out.
Well, no, it's not evened out. What's actually happened is they've what they call restated the figures. So the figures last year that were published were based on the passenger survey numbers, which, as we all know, is basically the survey that's done at the airport, at the sea terminal.
That random thing.
It is, and it's obviously a very, very tiny percentage. So what they've managed to do now is, and this follows the commitment in the Destination Management Plan, part of our programme for government effectively, and that is to review the data and to see how we can actually ensure that we are more accurate with that. So they've now managed to collate information, particularly from the steam packet and one of the airlines, to come back with restatement for not just last year, the year before, and this year. And that's the real message, Paul, this year, is that does show an increase, or rather 2018, an increase of 8% in terms of visitor numbers.
Right, so this makes it clear, last year you went out and I think it was Chris Thomas was saying these are the facts, these are the numbers, but now you're saying they weren't the numbers, or he is, or whatever it is, it's been recalibrated
restated with more solid information in terms of the data.
Right, so this year you're showing a little bit of an increase again. Your comments?
Well, no, it's very pleasing to see that. So it's not just that. The number, and bear in mind, we're talking about the overall numbers haven't actually changed in terms of movements on and off the island. This is all about the visitors, i.e. the tourism industry. So we were really quite concerned to ensure that we did get the most accurate information. So now restating it over those 3 years with more defined information and data, this has shown that we have had a 0.8% increase and a 12% increase in the visitor spend.
You're back to 20 years ago or something, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not brilliant, but it's back to where it was in the beginning of the century.
That's right, yeah. Well, 2000, yes. Yeah. You would be right. So, but I think that sort of resonates with industry in particular, because we've had feedback from industry that's shown a general trend of growth in the industry. That's reflected also in the confidence and the investment that we're seeing in the tourism industry.
You mean the new hotels, and then, well, the old hotel come back online, the Ronnie Ramsey's increasing in size.
Yeah, that's right.
But, and the one behind Martin Sparks coming on, isn't it?
About to open, and the Travelodge, and we've got one in Port Erin. So yes, that generally falls in line with what industry's been telling us.
Are you happy with where it's going? I mean, shouldn't it be more than this with all these, the way it's going, with everyone going on Airbnb holders, which is another subject in itself. I might come to that in a second, but there's so much more than just hotels to stay in these days.
It is, and we're in a very, very competitive environment. It's quite interesting, where people do have so much choice, of course, where they go on holiday, and we've obviously focused ourselves into events, short breaks, etc., and that's worked very well for us. And promoting the Isle of Man as a destination, we have the high-level programme for government, an island, a special place to live and work, but clearly you want a special place to visit, because if it's nice to visit, it is a great place to live and work as well. So that's one of the reasons when we restructured the department, we wanted the visit agency to play a key role. Of course, it's now the strategy is led by the visit agency, which predominantly is industry focus. Of course, we have political representation. My colleague Rob Collister sits on there, and they feed in with regards to policy input.
Yeah, he does tourism, doesn't he?
But he does, but they do the industry. That executive agency is responsible for the promotion of it, and product development, and then policy input. So that's I think 1 year on from that agency sort of being launched, it's great to see this positive result.
Right, let me touch on Airbnb. You don't make it very easy, is the sort of words from people that I've interviewed in the past and talked to. Should you not be embracing this new method of getting people bums on seats or on planes or on boats? And I know at the same time it's so difficult, because obviously you've got to look after, or try to look after, the traditional hoteliers.
Yes, no, it is, it's part of the gig economy, I guess, in many ways. We're seeing these sort of opportunities that do rise, and this in the tourism industry. Airbnb is growing.
Would you accept you don't embrace it enough?
Make
it hard to get people signed up and to fill in the forms and do this and charge for site visits.
No, it is. That is a form of regulation, I guess, in terms. And again, what we would do is we'd take advice really from the agency to see would we want to change that. But so far, I don't think there's any real evidence to say that yes, we would want to change that regulation. And what we're really asking is people to register, which is quite similar, of course, if you think about homestay.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? You've got homestay for TT, and you've got people who are doing Airbnb, and you don't really want to do that because you want to do your homestay, I guess.
But I know you can regard it perhaps as the same vein, but homestay is temporary.
Yes.
It is only for those very short periods. And why do we introduce homestay? We introduce homestay because we do not have capacity in our paid accommodation. The people who actually invest in their infrastructure, their property, their staffing, their insurance, etc., and so forth throughout the entire year. So that's why homestay is there, and that's why Airbnb is slightly different to that.
Are you happy with the numbers you're seeing?
Yes. I think we're pleased. My statement
could do better, isn't it? Really,
we always could. We'd always want it. But I think that these are encouraging numbers. If you think back to August 2000, is when we were last at these particular figures, the airport had a record year. What we're trying to do here, and let's face it, when we talk about the airport having a record year, that's really important because we have airport passenger duty, which is a revenue for the Isle of Man as well.
It's a tax, which you could do. Well, I could do without.
Every passenger would say that, but the average cost of an airfare on and off the Isle of Man has gone down over these last number of years.
Okay, well, we've got lots to talk about. Let's do a part two, and I want to go on to the subject of Heathrow.